First try, the vortex is working. It's early February in the North Idaho greenhouse. The passion fruit is alive, but sort of in hibernation. The mulberry is coming back, starting to fruit. The dragon fruit is doing well, putting on new growth. The banana has been in for about a year and a half, I think. Doing okay. The jalapenos doing pretty well. Strawberries are trying to produce some berries. Lime tree trying to produce a lime. Lots of new buds of flowers. Bird of paradise is flowering, has a few flowers, doing well. In the process of building another raised bed and just starting the process of building my masonry fireplace. Alright, it's been about 4 days since we made this pour. And the surface is quite set. Not a professional looking surface, but nonetheless, I think it'll make a strong foundation for the stove. Got some weird dripping stains on it, but we're going to take the frame forms apart. This is sort of the current plan of the firebox. We're going to be sitting on these more dense fire bricks. And then we're going to have these insulating fire bricks as the main firebox. With a vortex chamber, secondary burn chamber up above. And then it's going to exhaust out essentially out to the bellows. A bellow on this side made out of bricks, and a bellow on this side made out of bricks. That's the plan. This is my planned first layer to be cinder blocks, where I will fill in those gaps with clay and then have horizontal channels at the bottom of my bells before it goes over to the chimney to be exhausted. So this is my current challenge, is to figure out how to set these in clay mortar and fill in those gaps, because we need it to be airtight. Okay, we finished the first layer. All mortared in, sealed in the gaps pretty well, but there's going to be another layer of bricks on the outside of this. To even further seal the gaps, just added in a little bit of extra mortar around the tops for sealing, and the passage underneath is left open for the exhaust gases to flow through before they go up the chimney. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow when it's dried. Okay, so I've finished putting together the main part of the core of the fireplace that will house the main wood load, and then it has the port up that's going to come up to the secondary burn chamber. And I thought before I started working on the burn chamber and the exit out to the downdrafts of the bells, I should get started with my outer courses of bricks. So we're going to have basically a front course here, and then we're going to leave a gap for the bells on either side. And we're also going to leave a hole out on this side for the chimney to go up. Anyway, that's the next step. This is just dry stacking to see how it's going to fit. Okay, we are almost to the top of the bricklaying. We have the firebox here and the secondary burn chamber, and then we just need to put the top layer on. Here's the left side port down into the left side bell that goes out at the bottom up this chimney, and the same thing is on the other side. I'm just filling in getting ready to fill in a few of these gaps in the top before I put the very top layer on of brick and close it in. So that's where we are. Okay, so it's early October here in the North Idaho greenhouse, and as you can see, the greenhouse is still in very full form. A couple exciting things before I get started with the fireplace is that we have now passion fruit growing. See the passion fruit growing there. Another one over here. Unfortunately, I figured out that it does have to be hand pollinated because we don't get enough pollinators here in the greenhouse. a flower, another flower just starting to form there. Uh-oh, what happened? Okay, there we go, still on. And the other big news is up there, just start to see the first banana flower growing with a few little bananas starting to form, hands of bananas. So everything is looking pretty good. Tomatoes are doing well. The other thing that does very well here in the greenhouse is the peppers, the jalapeno peppers. We have a young banana, dwarf Cavendish that I just planted. And finally, we have the new fireplace that is finished finally. Well, mostly finished enough to test. And we're going to try that later today. You can see that there is a main burn chamber there loaded with wood. Goes up to a second burn chamber that has a window. Hopefully we'll be able to see some of the vortex flames in there. And then from that, it goes out and down on either side. And there's a channel that comes back across the bottom underneath the firebox, and then both sides exit and go up the chimney out the roof. So we have a pretty tall chimney, so we get a good draw, and it's almost finished. The only thing I have left to do is put a door on it, but for the test, before I actually make a custom door with a window in it, I'm gonna just stack some of these fire bricks in place to form a door. You can see the back is nothing too special, just a back brick wall. So we're pretty excited to see how it works. Okay. There goes nothing. Yeah, it's smoking.
Magnum's not. Now it's stopped. And it's smoking.
a lot. Ooh, I don't want to melt the camera. First try, the vortex is working, but on startup it got quite smoky in the greenhouse. It's not crumbled into pieces yet. Well, it's February 2025 in the North Idaho greenhouse. Just like to give you a little update on how the masonry fireplace is doing. There she is, but before we get there, I'd like to point out we have, where is it, blooming passion fruit, or not blooming, but ripe passion fruit. It's been falling off the vine. We have one there, some up there, one right over here, a couple over here. Bloomed about, I don't know, 4 months ago and has been falling off. Our bananas, let's see if I can give you a good view of that. Our bananas have been staying green, not really changing for the past several months. So I'm not sure if they're actually gonna get to the point of being edible. The jalapeno plant has just gone gangbusters and can't quite eat that many jalapenos. The dragon fruit is looking healthy but hasn't actually produced anything yet. Lime tree, not looking great, but I just pruned it way back, pruned a bunch of dead branches off of it. We have a few starts here. We have, a new addition to the greenhouse is sugar cane. Gonna try that out. A new banana plant. This one is a dwarf Cavendish, so it won't get quite as tall as the ice cream variety. And just a few other fun plants. That's aloe that we transplanted in here. But the fireplace is working pretty well. Well, good and bad. The glass, you can't quite see the flame in there, but the glass has broken a couple times, so I think it's getting too hot. And I'm just using a set of blocks as the main doors. But when it's rolling, it gets quite warm to the touch. Not too hot to touch, but very hot. And then the exhaust comes out here and goes out the ceiling. I have a fan on to just sort of circulate the air. It's a heater fan on a thermostat, so it keeps it, what are we at? I don't know if you can see that up there, but it's about 60 degrees in here. Keeps it at 60 degrees. The fireplace does most of the work. And then when the fireplace goes out, the heater kicks on. I've been doing about 2 fires a day. I've been doing about 1 fire in the morning, 1 load, and then I let it go out and shut the damper, which I have a damper here that I close off once the fire goes out to stop the draw. And have a bunch of bricks piled on top just to retain heat. And then I do another fire in the evening, and that actually keeps it pretty warm. It's the brick mass stays warm for about 24 hours after. Sorry, looked like my recording stopped. The fire brick mass stays warm for about 24 hours after the fire goes out. But if I do 2 fires a day, then that really keeps it hot and keeps the greenhouse warmer. Couple things I would do differently. I think I would go taller. Make just a taller version of this same thing so that the circulation has to go a little bit higher before it comes back down. And just more brick. The more brick you have, the longer it stays warm. And I could have done maybe another layer of brick out here, because the 2 sides where the bells are is where it really gets the hottest, so that's where it could absorb the most heat. But other than that, oh, and the other thing is I need to rework my glass window. It is, you can kind of see in there, but yeah, the glass is, I think, getting too hot and reacting and cracking. But when it stays warm, I can get the draw going pretty easily. When the brick mass is still a little bit warm, the draw just starts right up without smoking. So there you have it. Maybe I'll do an update later if I ever do some modifications to this. Thanks.